fucked you over cause you let him. Fuck him, girl, I guess he didn't know any better. Girl, that man didn't show any effort. Do all I can just to show you you're special. Certain it's your love that holds me together. Lately you say he been killing the vibe. Gotta be sick of this guy. Pull up the skirt, get in the right. Left hand is steering, the other is gripping your thigh.
Hey, Koopa time. Magic will happen today. It's your boy Mark, and we're soloing about a 2/5. I was about to say a third, but technically there are 5, so 2/5. We'll go 2/5. We'll go exact fractions of the way through the bosses, the first little half of our ending section of the game, the version 3 game. And good old episode today, we'll be going over the general aspects of, Dragon Quest, and I'll get a little bit more into the internet theory and how it relates to the 3 realms here and all that good stuff. But essentially, story-wise, I don't know if in this recording session we're going to get through all of the bosses, but we're just rescuing our fellow royalty, our fellow Estolian friends from the various clutches of these places so that they won't be sacrificed, so that, we can continue. I don't want to spoil what actually happens, even though I probably already have mistakenly. But, stopping them all from being sacrificed, as you do. As we go through brief fights, I'll probably just ramble on about different platitudes, gratitudes, blatitudes. But yeah, internet theory, it generally goes, I'll probably make like a more concise edited video about the theory and everything. But for this last part, the general theme is just how religion has been co-opted a little bit here, and we don't worship basically the god that we were told to worship normally. Like if you're kind of like a midwit, just kind of like going along with life and being a proponent of, what everybody else does. Basically, we're not worshiping the right gods in the right way. And in a lot of ways, they kind of convey this in this game to where you're kind of trying to stop the revival of the god by doing exactly what you should do to revive the god, which, you don't really realize until the end. And it feels sort of traitorous, and there's a little bit of a heartfelt moment because these are good people and good characters and very I wouldn't say good, we'll say thoroughly fleshed out, because they all have flaws. But yeah, they really humanize these weird dragon-like creatures and make it so that you'll understand why the evil will, infiltrated it. But essentially, how I'm going to relate it to the world in general is just the internet. The internet in general, it just took over the gods that we worship. Christianity and general traditional values. I was thinking of traditional values and religion in the same word. But yeah, a lot of people just, don't worship it in the same ways, and that's fine. It's just now there's no clear defined route of what to worship, where to look, where to go, what to value in order to have a fulfilling life. Now it's like, hey man, you can have a fulfilling life doing no matter what you do. And then some people don't have fulfilling lives, and they're like, I don't know why I didn't have a fulfilling life. I did whatever I wanted, right? But, obviously, there are some ways to play Dragon Quest X to an efficient level. There's a lot of ways to do that. But there's also some ways to play Dragon Quest X at a very inefficient level and just be bad at the game. And like most games that exist, a co-optical way, a meta way, and a way that just kind of works, But in life now, well, what they're squeezing out of America is that it's only comfortable to live and do the meta. And I think this is toxic. We need to create a new meta or expand the current ways that we can get to this meta. Because yikes, it's coming hard. It's coming hard, especially for us minority Americans. A lot of us believe that, it's just impossible, to get to that meta level without the crazy classes that we have to be or whatever. And essentially in this game, early on, if you were the wrong race, if you chose the wrong race at the beginning of the game, your stats would kind of be off, But we've leveled up, we've ranked up. A couple updates came in the whole year of 2025. I really do believe we have equal opportunities. But that's just my opinion. I feel like you really are kind of dictated by your parents. You know, not only how rich they are monetarily, but wisdom-wise, intelligence-wise. If you got dumb parents with a lot of money, you still may not have a lot of options. And that's just the way the world goes. You know, you're always running with the ramifications that you've been set up with. But just from the small 10 years of my quote unquote adult life, because I feel like I had to grow up pretty fast, honestly. But 29 now, and I really do believe that no matter where you start, you can go somewhere different with the work that you put in. You just got to work hard or smart, not hard. I was literally trying to not say hard. That's the thing, though, man. Whenever you try so hard and you focus on something so hard, it's gonna be there right in the forefront. But anyways, you need to work smartly and assuredly, constantly, and definitely in a way that accelerates you and works on your momentum instead of just working on some crazy motivation that you think will spring forward you and keep spring forward you, because eventually the motivation is just not going to be there. There are definitely times when I don't want to do this shit and I just have zero motivation, and what gets me to do it is just the momentum that I've already built, you know, the consistency with it, and on those off days when I really don't feel like doing it, you have to make the decision of like, what do I need? What would help me do it anyways? And then once you do enough of those, once you get enough of those reps in, it's gonna be weird when you don't do it. It's gonna feel awkward when you have those days and you're generally like, holy shit, I cannot move my body and there's no way I can get this work done. You're gonna feel satisfied actually, and you're gonna be like, yeah, I deserve this day off. But every other day, it's gonna be natural. It's gonna be like, whoa, that's weird. I didn't even feel it when I did it, you know. And it should energize you in a way that propels you forward no matter what the results are. That's why I'm very happy. I'm gaining a slow traction from this channel. I am so just not excited for a sudden explosion of growth or something like that, you know, unless I feel like the level cap is truly there and ready for me, and you know, I just don't feel like it is, you know. I feel very stagnant. Just, you know, in myself and in what I'm doing, and I feel like that's a good thing. Like if you're really locked in and honed in on what you want and you have a vision for it, it should start to feel pretty boring. And it has. It should start to feel pretty natural. And yeah, now that I'm in that state, it's just holding frame and locking in on what you believe in. And it's really hard, man, because the world, once again, it feeds off of your chaos. It feeds off of you not making a choice and allowing everybody else to make the choices for you. I mean, that's how TikTok took off in general. It saw Vine and it was like, yeah, but you don't even want to like choose what you're watching, right? You don't want that. You want us to choose it. Because decisions equal stress. And yeah, nobody likes stress. I don't like stress. I don't think it's ever good to go in the direction of stress. But as a man, I like progress. I like leveling up. I like gaining more. And if you want to get it all in the world, man, you got to give it all. You have to. So these crazy moments, these crazy times where I'm like, I don't feel like recording 3 videos a day. I don't feel like playing Dragon Quest today. I still just plug the controller in. I log in and do a daily. I start the mic up, you know, I open up FL Studio. I do something because that's what really instills the fact that you have a purpose, that you were put here for something, you know, that you have a place in this world. A lot of people don't believe they do because they just don't make it, you know? And it's not like they don't make it to something, they just don't literally create that space in their heart. They don't listen to the God that tells them, hey man, you like this, right? Why don't you do more of it? Because a lot of people look at their creations, their thoughts, their ambitions, as something that has to produce a result to be cool. You see it all the time, and it's something at birth, you know. As children, I remember one of my nephews started a YouTube channel, and he's like, I got 53 subscribers, and I'm like, oh shit, you got way more. What? You got all these subscribers, but wow! And even I'm doing, you know what I'm saying? Even I just did it right there. I was like, oh, you got way more. Oh, you know, all the subscribers. And like, that's fantastic. And then his friends are like, oh no, but I need 1,000 because my friends say I'm not cool unless I have 1,000 subscribers, man. You know, this adolescent shit in school is really why I hated it, because it doesn't end at subscribers on your YouTube channel, or what grade you got on the test, or you know, how many push-ups you can do, how fast you can run to the thing or whatever. And it's also one of the reasons why I really hate gyms and things like that, because I see it in myself. You know, I don't really fight it. I kind of bring that energy back into my own ambitions and try to be the best I can be, you know, better than yesterday, nowadays. But it always animates in childhood, and especially in modern schools, just as some toxic representation of masculinity. You know, there it is, the toxic masculine. But it's not really a toxic masculine if it has good results. The problem is that it's never enough, man. The competition between us doesn't breed more like collaboration and community. The competition breeds more competition. It breeds the meta to get higher and for us to be way more separated. And I hate that, because I like getting better. And guess what alienates you from a lot of guys? When you get better and you're humble and you don't like to acknowledge that you're getting better. I honestly, sometimes I completely ignore it. And, you know, a lot of people will put you down for your abilities, but one thing that I have noticed is that I have never been put down for how fast I learn things, or my speed of learning. Another thing, I did a lot of theater as a kid, and early on I noticed that memorizing lines is probably the easiest thing for me to do ever, and it's only become easier over time. And matter of fact, now I have a specific method to do it in under like 5 minutes. So this, much like a lot of other things in life, I kind of just put it on the back burner. I was like, well, I don't need to worry about this shit anymore, so I guess I'll just, what time are we getting off of? Oh, what, the 24th? 23rd at midnight, I'm just like, No, it's crazy though, because that's the way we think. And so, now run with me here. Internet knowledge-wise, why would you not take the ChatGPT route? I mean, it's like a calculator, basically. You know, I understand why the youth is like this. I would be 110% like this, because I know what I did with acting. I'm not gonna try if the answer is right fucking there. I do this on every interview I do, every page I write, every like resume. You know, now I'm using AI. Of course I'm using AI. You know, sometimes I use it to draft up an idea for a song, or see what's going on in my head as far as my ideas. I'll like, you know, I'll have a note that I wrote down and be like, hey, expand this note that I wrote into like a 3-minute topic that I could talk about, or give me some points on this that I thought, you know, something like that. I also use AI imaging, you know, my little React that I did a while ago, and possibly in the future, I'll have that PNG tuber for more videos. I just haven't decided to use it too much because, you know, one, I'm just not the most proud of it. It's just AI, but two, it's just kind of a sample video of what's to come, what could be, and what essentially will be. But I always like to say could, as not only a, you know, a safe spot for me, but to truly be authentic and say that nothing is certain in this world. And that's the problem with a lot of people. We have this entitlement issue. I think that's what the internet has given us. We think because we see it, we should have it. But from a very early age, even with things like porn, I realized that The whole fun of it is that I'm not there, is that I'm here in my room and I'm not actually experiencing this. There are a lot of things I watch that I would never want to be anywhere near in real life. And I think that's what people like confuse algorithms with. They think the algorithm is giving them what they want 100% of the time. That's just not true, man. You know what the algorithm gives you? It gives you what you engage with the most. It can make you happy, it can make you mad, it can make you sad, whatever you tap the screen and watch a lot. It can honestly, what really disturbed me about TikTok is that it gave me a lot of stuff that just disturbed me and confused me that I watched the entire thing of because like, wow, what the fuck is going on here? And of course I interacted with them a lot, but until you realize that, it's really hard to intellectualize why you keep coming back to the app. And it's like because it only feeds you the things that make you use it the most. So of course it's addictive. Imagine if every time you smoked, your mind automatically went to some crazy area of space where you could see the stars and expound on everything. And essentially that's what a lot of people's first smoking experience is like. But the reason why they keep doing it and doing it more is because they're chasing that euphoric chillness. Or the ideas, the creative stuckness that was there from the beginning, And with TikTok, the problem is it's always going to be there, with music or with YouTube videos, with any media really, it's always going to be there and it's always going to be new. So in theory, the dopamine never dies. Dopamine never dies. But we can choose to kill it. We can. The problem is I don't think a lot of people will. And is that a problem? I mean, well, maybe. If you want a functioning America, possibly. But yeah, hopefully, man, critical thinking will become the meta again, because I don't think I'll ever be able to stop mine. I don't, I manually do it sometimes and it works. Flick the constant inner monologue off every now and again, and it's fine. But yeah, I like to do it. Honestly, I think it's not something that really stops me nowadays, but it definitely used to. And I think if it stops you, then maybe cut out a little bit of the chronic thought patterns that just lead to neurosis and planning. And I can put this here and I put that there. If that happens, like I believe. So you set up your life like a whole Rube Goldberg machine of security. Like no, fuck that. I used to be there. We always be there. I don't think it's OCD. I think it's just general mental illness caused from constant obsession over internet exposure. And I get it, because oftentimes a lot of this internet stuff seems realer than the life of life, I suppose. But I mean, all in all, it's not. It's all just a different representation of what's around us. The thing is, our environment is just way smaller than it used to be. So the internet in itself, it really encompasses stuff of how big the world is. And I think this is also why a lot of people are off themselves. Because with this new God that we've created, we put over Christianity and all this shit, and all these different multiple choice answers that we have for, what to follow, what to believe in, what to value. People feel like that if they make the wrong choice, well, it's like, oh, I betrayed God, betrayed God, and look at all these people. Look at all these people. Now I can see everyone who didn't and did well. It's not me. Isn't that great? I can see every path that was correct, except for the one I took. I just took the wrong path once, and I can't go back in time, so I guess I'm fucked. Whether I'm 29, 28, 22, 32, 42, 52, 87, who cares? Everybody thinks it's too late. Hope is very hard to find because people aren't really authentic online. Let's be real, guys. It's mostly the good parts. It's mostly the good parts and the horrible tragedies. Nobody wants to wake up and say, my leg kind of hurts, but I made this coffee and it's kind of hot. Because that's boring. Doesn't engage you. Does not engage you. So, I mean, maybe some people do it. I'd never see it, and you would never see it. Unless, you live with them or you know them. And that's the thing, guys. That's life now. Like, why does this internet stuff seem so real? Yeah, because, life is boring. And we don't have the actual like benefits and progression and Call of Duty rank up system in real life anymore. We just don't. People act like we do. We just don't. I've met a lot of rich people. I've met a lot of powerful people in life. And how they got their power, common story. Common story. Even mid-rich, you know, mid-level people. Everyone. Every single person. Same story. I met someone. I knew someone. Someone helped me up. It's community. It's networking, and it's nepotism to gain all this. You know, you can't do it by yourself. You just can't, you know. It's impossible. Really, you need an employer, a concession, a community, you know, a guideline, a rope, springboard. Especially if you're gonna go from rags to riches. And the thing about that is there are only so many routes up, and now the gates are being kept to the umpteenth degree. It's kind of diabolical how deep the gates are being kept. So I think the main reason that we have this whole epidemic, you know, people say it's male loneliness, it's really male suicide. Male game ending. You know? I think it really is just a lack of direction, a lack of hope, because that is what hope is. It's direction. People don't see this natural progression through just regular means nowadays. I don't see that. You don't see that? Nah. I mean, I've gotten raises in my life, at jobs, maybe like 30 cents to 70 cents every time. I don't think I've ever gotten, more than like a $2 raise, and this was like for switching positions to like a leadership position from just a worker. And it's not like I hate jobs. I'm one of the few that really loves working. I think you guys can tell from this this channel here. Generally what I do is I start small and I create a plan, and I used to just go way too deep into these plans until I realized the whole magic of moving with a purpose and just taking action even when you don't know, you know, maybe not even what the end of the action you're taking right now is going to be. Just taking action. Just fucking, I don't care, man. And I've made a lot of mistakes because of that. But, hey man, at least I'm in a different place now. That's all I can say. I'm no longer afraid of my mistakes anymore, because I know I'll either live or I'll die, and we'll move on. And I'm completely fine with that, you know? I always know that learning is the goal, so honestly, I kind of hope for the mistakes first, so that I know. I love knowing. If I'm like 99 to 98% sure, I love those wins. I love those wins, man. When it's like I've made so many mistakes so far, that this move right here, ooh, motherfucker, you are not ready for this move. And then I have the special, it pings, and then, ooh, yeah. The puff power. It's good shit when it happens, but the thing is, you have to build up for moments like that, and a lot of people don't want that delayed gratification. That takes long time, that takes long effort. Fuck that. And I get it. Yeah, it's kind of annoying, kind of stupid that everything is easier now, but to get basic shit to live, it's way harder. I mean, but to me it makes sense, right? I mean, it should. That's how MMOs work, man. The meta is crazy high now because there's so much shit you can do. And because of that, because you have all these options, they make everything more expensive. And they gotta make the level cap super high, you know, so that you can't like learn all the shit. So just spend all the time in the game doing basically nothing. Yeah, it's ridiculous. And the fact is, a lot of us will never make it out of this. So, goodness gracious, that train is going crazy. Sorry if you guys are a little annoyed about that. I do live like right next to the train track, not even gonna lie. It's like maybe like a 2-minute walk away. So can't really tell when I mean like it's like between 7 and 8 every morning when it comes, but you know, I can't really tell. I'll lock it down between the 30-minute period, so it is what it is. It is what it is, you know? We'll get trained sometime, we'll get trained not sometime, but so look at that. We did make it to this part of the story. Basically, let me jump back into Dragon Quest land here. What's happening here is we've destroyed the barrier to the shrine, and now Estelle is going back to her basically her orphaned home to tell everybody that her father is a traitor, and also convince them that, you know, he's not a fully bad person, right? Yeah, but she's been banished, so they're all going to be very surprised that she's there to show her face. But yeah, we've destroyed the barrier, we've rescued everyone, so we got to go in there and confront, or I think his name is Ortus, about, you know, what he's been doing, what he's been preaching to the people. Because it seems he's been indicted by the evil will. The evil will. Which essentially has been convincing everybody that what they are doing is for the greater good. We're to bribe Draga so he can, you know, save everyone or something. When in reality, the evil will has been perpetuating all the problems that are going on in the realm in the first place. And connecting all the realms and, you know, collecting all the vessels is what you actually need to do to revive him so he can actually just destroy the world. And so, essentially, what Estella is explaining to the people here is kind of like what I'm trying to explain to you, lovely 44 ladies and gents here. It is that the world is kind of lying to us. The DEI and all this quote-unquote anti-racism shit. It's not really anti-racism shit. And I'm tired of the toxic positivity that I get because, you know, I can see when it's real and I can see when there's just so much inherent racism baked into it. And not crashing out is just really easy to me now. And I understand why people do over this. But, yeah, I'm just so apathetic towards it. And I don't think that's good, that it's very, very easy for me to be just non-reactive to, you know, someone being overly excited that I waved and said hi to them, you know, or overly excited that, you know, oh, they dropped their wallet and then I picked it up and gave it to them, like, oh my gosh, you're so nice, that is so kind, or you know, they dropped something and I'm like, oh hey, you dropped something, like, oh my god, thank you so much. I'm okay with that, you know, I'm okay with people being overtly attractive to me. You know, girls don't really shoot their shot, right? They just kind of put themselves in position, you know, Beyonce style. Okay, wait, was that Rihanna? I don't know. I get them mixed up all the time. People call it blasphemy. I'm just racist. What can I say? But essentially, the world is baked in, you know, poked in. At least America, I know. I haven't really explored too much of other countries. But you know, the racism's not really gonna go away. Unless we systematically deconstruct the entire thing from the ground up, you know, we get some atom bombs in this bitch. But yeah, our culture, it's rooted in black bad. The fact that, you know, people even call us black people instead of African Americans or Africans or whatever, because, you know, people back in the day used to be like, I'm French or I'm Polish or, you know, I'm British. People used to really say they were English in America or whatever, you know, built on immigrants and all that. But yeah, it's the things that are invisible. You know, it's just like fighting stupidity or any other mental illness. You can't really fight racism. It's like fighting gas. It's like fighting air. And I feel like you're skeptical. You need some examples, right? I want you, this is your little homework assignment for today because we're almost done here. Go ahead, look up the ice cream truck lyrics. Lyrics to the ice cream truck. Yeah. Ice cream truck song. You know the ice cream truck song. You know the ice cream truck song. Yeah. Look at the lyrics to that. Yes, it has lyrics. And this is just a small example of just how it's kind of like baked into the culture of just all of everything we have, man. And you can't crash out over this. It doesn't bother me anymore. I've seen it so early in my life that of course it doesn't bother me. And that's why I feel like we really do have equivalence of opportunity. But a lot of people, even old people, don't understand this. And they really do think like the DEI and all this, like it's ending racism. I'm like, no, man. It's just another coat of paint, really. And that's what's like causing a lot of people to crash out. That's what's causing a lot of people to be like, oh, I gotta be publicly right, but you know, as soon as I get that option, I'm gonna crash out. You know, that's what honestly disturbed that Rampage Jackson Jr. guy. That's what got him, because Psycho Stu did some subtle racism shit that he's just been experiencing his whole life, good and bad. He thinks everybody's playing with him. You know, he thinks the whole world thinks he's a joke because you're so unthreatening. Oh, look at this good black man. What an amazing person. He can't hurt or fly. That's fantastic. We'll just make fun of him here. He's the only black guy here. I'm Psycho Stu. I'm gonna slam a can on his head. Ha ha ha. You know, and he thinks I gotta be politically correct, and then the resentment builds. You know, and then they just crash out. But you know, that doesn't happen to me. You know what the best way to crash out on people is like that? You give them nothing. You know, honestly, the problem is the whole streaming and like this shit I'm doing right here. It drives you to want the numbers and the publicity and that, because that's kind of why he did it. You know, it was that, it is his dad. It was all this baked into it, and the racism. You know, making a point about the racism, it will never work. It will always cause you to look like the fool 100% of the time, because there's no way you're gonna fight a gaseous enemy with a sword like he was doing, or the fist. You know what I'm saying? Like you're so just misguided, and it's sad because, you know, his dad failed him on a colossal level. If there's anyone who should be held responsible, it's him, for sure. Rampage is just fucking idiot, murderer who doesn't know, probably doesn't know how wrestling works. Because if you look at the choke slam, if you analyze the footage, you know, very unsafe way to do that. But yeah, this is the thing. When you have a whole generation that just says, "Oh, black people are great. They know how to do everything. They're wise. They're noble. You know, they'll never do anything wrong. We'll just put them in all these situations because they're competent all the time." And then when they're not, it's like, "Ha! Yes, I told you." But that's just my opinion, guys. I hope you found some value in this little analyzation I've done. This next episode here, we're gonna go down to the dungeon and learn what the true superpower of betrayal is. All right, so join me then. Appreciate you, love you. Subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.
Light up a spliff and get high. Shout it, you deserve what you've been missing. Looking at you, I'm thinking he must be tripping. Play this song for him, just slip.